You ever just like wake up, but instead of, I don't know, reaching for your glasses or taking a swig of water from your bottle, you just kind of fall off the bed? No, just me? All right. Well, don't let my odd start to the day get in the way. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Connor. This is Connor Talks Games, your one way stop for all things where Connor Talks Games. An absolutely amazing introduction. But something crossed my mind today that I wanted to talk a little bit about. Before we do that, I gotta give you all an update because, well, it's been a while since we did one of those. And also talking about the zombie games last episode, we gotta mix it up a tiny bit. So I have been pretty busy. I stayed at a family's place, helped out with some stuff. So the gaming opportunities were not exactly there because I don't have a gaming laptop. I have a work laptop that I bring to and from, and that maybe at most you can play like games that don't require a lot of graphical fidelity. Like it's got an integrated graphics, which is why it's difficult to run things on the heavy setting. And I was definitely missing not being able to play Warframe. But I'm back, and with that, I've been sitting on some stuff. So I've actually there's a couple things in the iron or the furnace, so to speak. First and foremost, I currently got my hands on Halo Campaign Evolved. For those who have listened to older episodes, I have referenced my fondness for the franchise in a multitude of occasions. I love it with all my heart. It's probably the one thing I will never get away from, no matter how hard I try. And I've sunk in countless hours into it across my life and beyond. But now, obviously, they went ahead and remade it. It's a bit of a hot topic right now, but I'd like to give my probably biased opinion. Maybe not. I don't know yet. I'm only like two missions in, and I don't really have enough to formulate an opinion on it. But based on what I've seen so far, I'm hopeful that it will continue to kind of at least go in a direction. There are some things about it that I don't like, but we'll cover that later. As you know, the Star Rail update has dropped, and with it, Himiko Nova. Obviously, the Grail War collab part 2 has come out, where Rin and Gilgamesh got added for the UBW, or nope, sorry, Stay Night. Excuse me. I wish it was Unlimited Blade Works, but it's not. And I'm currently grinding my way through that. I will keep it on a lid because I don't want to spoil anything, and that will probably, I think that was the last uh at least mainline update for Plain Arcadia, but I'll be sure to keep you updated if I see anything else, because I certainly would love to get my feedback on it. And kind of just like lastly, I gotta do a video on Okami at some point. My friend's been holding me at gunpoint for quite a while on it, and I've just been dragging my feet because very busy man. But on top of that, like just I had to really say, yeah, I've just been in a really good mood. I've been talking to people, been networking, I've been get my name out there a little bit. We're still kicking, we're still moving, we're still rolling. Interns are doing good at Cyclone. I love recording these sessions, and now we got another one for you today. And now let's get to the topic at hand. So, raise your hand if you've ever played an extraction shooter in your life. Okay, my 6 viewers have now all consecutively raised their hands. Hopefully. Well, allow me to list my credentials before I continue further. I have approximately 154 hours on Dark and Darker. It is very fun. I played a little bit of Escape from Tarkov. I was a fan of Marauders. Actually, let me see how many hours I have on Marauders. As of recording this, I have about 50. Not quite an insane amount, but if we're talking about my knowledge in this system, yeah, no, I have sunk some time into extraction shooters. But the reason I kind of want to bring them up today is extraction shooters to me have this very weird place in my heart because I wouldn't say that I hate them, but it's like an on and off relationship. Because on one end, if I get like a group going and we're just tearing up ass, we are kicking ass, taking names, getting out the best loot. Yeah, no, I love it. And then I go in with Jack Dilly squat or like an absolutely kitted out character and get killed by a trash mob and probably uninstall it for a month and then come back and play it again. Funny enough, I have not played Arc Raiders. It's not that I think it's bad. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Hunt Showdown. That's the other one that I have on the list. It's split between like I played these on either the PC or I played them on console. Uh, but I played such a good chunk of that. Technically speaking, Marathon, I do have a little bit of time in there as well. But Marathon is like I haven't played that enough to really say I'm a one-on-one. And honestly, I already gave my opinion on it. But I'm thinking today I kind of want to just talk about my experiences with it, kind of say what I like and I didn't like. And I think I can't really think of a better place to start than Dark and Darker, which is actually my current one. So, for those who don't know, Dark and Darker is if you took the extraction format and you put it in a fantasy-based setting, and instead of guns, it's swords and spells. So you got your classes, you got fighter, ranger, rogue, wizard, cleric, barbarian, sorcerer, warlock, druid. I feel like I'm missing one, but I might be. But yeah, just picture it as it's a class-based system where you can customize your character to fit different playstyles depending on what you do. It's a lot of fun. There are bosses, you can fight players. There are 4 distinctive maps in which you can go deeper to get better rewards, or you can extract. And of course, the game has a comprehensive loadout system that allows you to customize based on the substats of items that you select. It's got a market so you can sell your finds for gold. That's actually the best way to kind of make money in the game, is to find something and sell it for usually 5 or 10 gold cheaper on the market. And of course, it has a free to play model in which if you can play it for free, but you can't do high roller, which is the absolute like high stakes game mode that gets you the best loot and the best stuff, but you can fight players and it's absolute risk every time you go in. But what's great about Dark and Darker is how hardcore it is. Like, you can go, like, I played my fair share of rat runs in a couple of extraction shooters, but ratting in Dark and Darker, or like going from zero to hero, it is the best feeling. Like, I've had 1 or 2 games where I load in with my buddy, and I'm going in as like a barbarian with bare minimum gear, maybe some stuff, and finding loot, equipping it and all that's great. We stumble across a battle, get some loot from it. It's the best feeling. Got some legendary items doing that, killed some items. But what's kind of funny about it is Dark and Darker, there aren't a lot of guides out there that kind of really hit a sort of niche for me, where it's like, let's say I want to know specifically how to do a certain thing. Well, there are videos on it, but either they're outdated or they're kind of like they don't always go in depth. Like, there are some exceptions to that, but in my experience, the best way I found to learn was to go in, like learning that the dungeon key in the Forgotten Castle, when you go into the ruins section, specifically the spawn where it's the 2 doors on both ends of the stairwell that lead down on opposite ends, and one room you can pick the lock, go in, open the chest, get the key, go in the other room, and then bada boom bada bing, you got a treasure hoard that you can loot. And if you're not too confident in your skills, you can actually opt instead to do the PvE game mode. You can't loot other players and you'll find them, but it's good for practicing bosses, learning the map, getting some cheap loot that you could just sell on the market for whatever, or even completing quests. There is a quest system in the game, and when you complete quests, you can unlock more baseline gear and stuff that you can purchase or just do good in general with. So it's pretty good in that respect. And if you're looking for something a little different, I would actually say, yeah, no, it's a great experience for that. Now, something that's a little more like unique on the market, but still kind of in that category, would have to be none other than what I like to call Hunt Showdown. Now, as of writing this, I do not play the game anymore, but I have sunk a considerable amount of time into it back in the day on the console before 1896. At least I'm pretty sure they didn't call it that when I was playing. No, they didn't. Now, what because I stopped playing, I think, when Scrapbeak got added, and that was a while ago. So Hunt Showdown, very similar to Dark and Darker. You have the bosses that you find and you fight them, and like the PvE enemies. But what's really great about Hunt, and this is also a feature in Dark and Darker, but I'll say Hunt actually takes it a step further, is in Hunt Showdown, on top of it being, 1800s weaponry, like the advent of modern day firearms, so, you know, everything's bolt action or slow to fire and clunky to reload, there is a large emphasis on sound. So there are zombies in the game and bosses, but if you step on broken glass, rattle chains, or cause noise, that actually attracts enemies to your location. And there's this really cool thing that I always enjoyed where, depending on where you see crows taking off, so in the game, there are flocks of crows that just kind of casually sit around high contested areas or compounds. And if you are not careful, you can cause them to take off. And if you see crows taking off opposite where they're going, that's the direction you see players coming from. So it's usually wise to be careful of and take into account where you're going. Now, the idea when you load into a match is you have to secure a bounty, and bounties are located on bosses. So on top of doing a boss fight, you have to then sit down when you kill the boss and hunker down the location as you banish the area, like the boss, because then that causes a meter to fill up, and once it's full, you can pick up the loot, get the hell out. And obviously, players know where you are at all times when you do that, because in the game there's this thing called Dark Sight. Dark Sight allows you to pick up clues, which will lead you to the boss location, but also allows you to track the bounty. And if you see an enemy player carrying the bounty, it'll be a lightning strike in the sky in Dark Sight that you can use to then pinpoint their location and take them out. But when players pick up a bounty, you get Dark Sight, which is 5 seconds of wall hacks. You can see enemies, you can react accordingly, you can move around even. It's actually pretty fun. And to encourage aggressive play as well, when you kill players and you have a bounty, if you loot their corpse, you get a recharge on your Dark Sight. So it's just continuously murdering targets, grabbing that, and moving. I think what makes Hunt Showdown so much fun when I was playing it is it's so unique because it is a post-Civil War America that is overwhelmed with literally the denizens of hell, which have wreaked their way across the states. And you are a bounty hunter that makes their living by going into the bayou and hunting these creatures. Now, obviously, I'm not sharing that bounty with other people. So I'm going to absolutely blast people and tell them, no, you cannot come near my stuff. Absolutely get messed up, destroyed. Get out of here. There's also a lot of cool skins in the game, and there's a cool feature where when you level up your hunter, you can spend perk points to give them unique functions. So, you know, You can get a perk that allows you to extract bounties and also clues from distance. There are perks that allow you to grab bullets that would fly out of your gun when you do a reload. So when you chamber in a new round or you reload bolt action weapons, for instance, the game will cause that round to eject. So usually it's better to empty a clip because then you can reload it with a stripper clip, excuse me. Should clarify on that. But if you're reloading a single round in, then you usually lose a round to load a round in. It's interesting. And then there's obviously like when you chamber in a round, you have to do that. So certain shotguns, for instance, like the Spectre, in order to fully reload it, you have to lose a shell, which obviously is never good. But if you have the perk, Bullet Grubber, if I remember correctly, was the name of it, you can reload that round back in and still have the extra round in the chamber. So there's no issues there. The game definitely rewards emphasis on headshots because every single weapon does a shit ton of damage to the body depending on what you got. But you also have to factor in bullet drop and velocity. So certain weapons, depending on the distance, have a travel time, and it can be a lot more difficult if you're using, let's say, the medium version of a spring. Oh my god, I am. It's on the tip of my tongue now, and it's gonna annoy me. The Springfield, excuse me. So the Springfield rifle, for instance, right? It's cheap, but it's got two variants. It's got the long one and the short one, and there are a bunch of things, but like the longer one has better velocity over range because it has, more travel time. And then you can really mess around with it. You can get velocity ammo, you can load explosive rounds into a dumb ammunition poison. This is what I really like about the game. There are different variations of different weapons, so you can always kind of mix and match what you want to take. You want to take dual Lamat revolvers that have two shotgun shells in them that are flammable, but your primary ammo, like the bullet, like the pistol rounds itself, are bleed rounds. You can do that. If you want to take a fully automatic Mosin Nagant and load it with, I don't know, freaking. Actually, what rounds does the Mosin Nagant? At least the fully auto one do. How much does that cost? The Avmatat, Spitzer, or incendiary ammo, which Spitzer in exchange for lower damage increases the travel. Yeah, nah. Incendiary ammo, that crap. You're going all out. You might as well go ham. Although then again, the thing is like uber expensive. But everybody likes the Mosin anyways, from what I remember correctly, so there is that. But yeah, no. It's a fun game. I like it. I don't play it anymore, but I might reinstall it at some point if I find it to be particularly good. Now, this is actually something very interesting that I didn't even know, but apparently it was just there. Post Malone was actually in an update, the Murder Circus one, as the owner and runner of the circus, which I just thought was amazing, for lack of a better term. Because I don't know, I think his vibe fits pretty well with it. But yeah, that is Hunt Showdown. It's fun, but I don't think I'll return to it anytime soon, unless I just really want to get back into it. Now, this is a little more of a hidden gem, but there's this little game called Marauders. Now, Marauders, for those who do not know, combines the extraction shooter formula with ship combat, like space combat. Now, the way that works is you are a pirate that loads into a map and a ship, and you go around looting areas, obviously, but on top of that, you can dock on the stations, and then you have a boots on the ground gameplay. But there's also a reward for breaching into enemy ships. Okay, so let me explain it properly. So your main ship is how you get around the map and dock on space stations. Now, let's say, you're in ship combat and you want to get out. You have a breaching pod that you can load into, an escape pod that you can actually use to punch into a ship. This is how you get on things like the cargo ship, escape into areas outside, and of course, get off stations if you do not have access to a keycard. Now, what's interesting and honestly really cool is this is like one of the most fun games to completely rat in. So in Marauders, like a lot of extraction shooters, you can like set your loadout before you load in and all that. But you need a ship in order to get around. So it gives you like the cheapest piece of crap rust bucket you can think of. It's got one turret, slow as fuck, absolute dog water. But when you load in this ship, it gives you a pouch that you can have equipped, so and like a roll of bandages, so that way you're good, and like a basic pistol. Now, where the zero to hero happens is when you use this setup to breach, let's say, I don't know, a cargo ship that's being controlled by one of the enemy factions. And you board this ship, and the next thing you know, you've taken the head off of one of the elite guards who has like an MG42 and the best armor in the game, and the Panzerfaust, I believe that's the correct one, the heavy Panzer armor, which has like the best resistances to damage. And then you can load into escape pod and you can get out. Now, let's say you want to be a little bit more combative. Well, that's the beauty of it. Let's say we are both in a space station and we both have ships. So when you load into a dock, you have to remember where you're docked, and you are given a key card to redock and access like that area. Now, there are obviously rare ships that players bring in. And these can be as basic as a rust bucket or as elite as a hyper battleship. And I'm talking like big battleship that the player can steal from somebody else. Now, ships don't blow up in the game unless it's an escape pod. In this game, when you destroy a ship or immobilize it, you can keep shooting it to cause players to have to escape, because you take damage when you lose health in the ship at that point. And you can then pick off their pods, but it's really easy to tell when there's an escape pod because they glow off in the distance. But, let's say I kill somebody, I could steal a ship, I can get out, I can sell it for a profit, or I can keep using it. Now, there are like a lot of cool mini things in there. One of the real neat things is the game actually has its own equivalent of a Red Baron that could spawn. And the Red Baron has a very fast ship. It does a crap ton of damage to your other ships. And on top of that, he is ridiculously good at being able to explode your ship if you try to get near him. Now, let's say you do disable his ship. This is the fun part. You can breach into his ship with a pod, but then you have to find out where he is. Well, as it turns out, when you find him, he is usually one of the quicker targets that blows your head off. How do I know? Well, I loaded in with a buddy at one point. We dropped in, and his ass was hiding in a corner because, of course, the damn thing was quiet, and he blew my head off. But if you kill him, you get a solid ship, and you get a token that you can use to loot his stash. And that's kind of the beauty of the game, is there's all these like minor interactions you can do on top of like missions. So like I remember one run, I had to attack a colony ship, and the colony ship is defended by outside defenses, so you have to like take it in slow, go in, and get out. We land in there, and when you land in the ship, this is one of the big, heavily contested areas, so you got players all around you fighting, obviously, on top of the NPC guard unit that is shooting at you to try to stop you from getting deeper. But the ship has a big vault that has some of the best items in the game. Your heavy weapons, I think like the SVTs, the heavy machine guns, all of that. One of my most fondest moments was when I loaded in with a buddy, and everybody was breaching in. We had scav people running in, absolutely going ham, trying to shoot people. We had like one of the top 100 players, if I remember correctly, at the time, a part of this clan, who my buddy blew his head off, and that was really funny. But we were fighting our way through. We got to the top. We stole somebody's card. We got a battleship out of it after we looted the vault and we left. I remember one time we just, no matter how many times we did runs, we just could not stop with the loot we had. And we had to keep going. Did I also mention that you can aggressively insult people? Yeah, no. So there are different voice options in the game, and depending on the key you hit, it's like, ah, come here, go there, move over there. And if you hit it like repeatedly, they yell. And obviously, there is a swear one. The American voice actor in that game, like the guy who does that nationality in the game, needs a damn raise. The guy's like, get over here, motherfucker! Fight me, you bastard! All the all the fun stuff like that. And honestly, it's so much fun, and I can't get enough for it. But I want to round this out now with a game that actually has yet to come out, and I'm very excited to discuss it. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to mention Rules of Engagement, the Gray State. So, for those who don't know, the best way I can describe Rules of Engagement, at least based on the gameplay I've seen, is Escape from Tarkov with Cthulhu mythos thrown in. So, the game has this emphasis where you go into like this messed up zone that's obviously being overrun by these eldritch entities. You cannot trust your eyes in some instances, and hallucinations are common. The trailer has Siren Head in it. I I had to like blink to double check that that was a thing. But what makes it really neat is like your modern day spec ops guys going into this zone, and there's like this oil rig that's being overwhelmed by this kraken. There's this dark like city zone that has the Siren Head guys going around, and the gameplay trailer that they like actually released recently, and I want to say, yeah, as of July on the 29th, they launched this trailer where you are going around on this island shooting at targets. But they have this emphasis where they want players to bring a balanced loadout based on what I've seen. So if you're dealing with a horde, yeah, guns can deal with that, but a flamethrower might be better at controlling and thinning them. If you're fighting a heavily armed target like the Siren Head in the trailer, maybe you want to bring the recoilless rifle and put a round in its skull. But what's awesome on top of that is the game has this massive array of a skill tree to mess with. And it's really cool because one of the classes has a tactical shield, but if you spec into the skill tree, you can get a pump action shoddy that allows you to breach doors and put rounds in heavier targets. The stealth class has an option to get full camo and instantly take down targets from behind, like it just instantly kill them. And it allows you to get past PvE targets. And another one has a built-in flamethrower that they can just casually use, and you can upgrade it to have a more volatile mix, so the damage is just more proficient. This is just like a small taste. I want to add, like, I highly recommend you check out the trailer, Rules of Engagement, the Gray State. It looks like an awesome game. It's free to play. I'm in their Discord server, and I'm consistently trying to get into the whatchamacallit, the play test, but, you know, alas, I've yet to get that, so sad day indeed. Well, you know, what are you gonna do? Well, yeah. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please be sure to follow our socials, our Instagram, our Instagram, and obviously check out the website at Project Cyclone Productions. And I have a Twitter. I don't use it, but you can do it. And please be sure to send me questions through the email hosted in the description below. I love reading them. I'm trying to build a backlog right now before I start continuing again. And yeah, thank you for listening. My name is Connor, and this has been Connor Talks Games.